I'm Dennis Peacock, and we're here on the Transforum dealing with one of the 6 great issues of our time. And that is, how do we train our children to succeed in life? And I have been doing a series here in the Transforum over the last several months on training children. And that's what I want to talk about today. And the principle is the politics of blame. How do you handle the training of your children, or how do you handle people in general when they make a mistake? How do you want to be handled? Now, the principle is everybody loses in the blame game and everybody wins in the responsibility game. Everybody loses in the blame game, which, by the way, is played in about 98% of life, because for reasons known to God, very, very few people are trained in the area we're talking about today. But everybody wins in the responsibility game. What are we saying? Well, let me say this. The family unit is where everyone's social foundation skills are established. All of us and every psychological study, every metric I've ever seen in the last 50 years, all establishes the reality that the family unit is the basic socialization training ground. And you are going to be responding to people's mistakes and have people respond to you largely, fundamentally, based on how you were trained as a young child. Now, what are the issues? Correction versus rejection. When you make a mistake, when your children make a mistake, when your boss finds you in making a mistake, when you find somebody else in making a mistake, do you bring correction or do you reject them? What do they get off you? Are you saying to them when you make mistakes, I'm going to emotionally punish you? Or are you bringing correction so that they can improve their behavior, improve their attitude, improve their performance? Maturity is bringing correction, not rejection. How about principle versus humiliation? When somebody makes a mistake and there's a principle involved, isn't the real issue giving that person the principle that they violated or didn't see or didn't properly apply, versus saying, hey, dummy, or you made another mistake, or you always do that, or you're just like your mom, or just like your dad, or just like your brother? Humiliation is a terribly ineffective form of correction. We want to be training people by training them in principle recognition. How about blame versus responsibility? Again, we're back into what is the blame game. The blame game is trying to find out who's right and who's wrong, instead of where does the responsibility lie for this? Were you untrained? Were you ignorant? Were you responding to somebody's negative response to you? Where is the responsibility in what made things go wrong? And that brings us to the last point, which is the difference between the right-wrong game and the life-death game. Now, to those of you that may read Scripture, I would direct you to Deuteronomy chapter 30, where Moses said in front of Israel, not right-wrong, but life-death. He didn't say choose what's right. By the way, religious people are constantly hung up on what's right and what's wrong. But spiritual people are hung up on how does this situation bring life and keep us away from death. You know, the whole issue of the blame game and the politics of the blame game, it's up in every newscast. I mean, all the newspapers, the television, everybody is seemingly into the blame game instead of where is the responsibility, what's the principle that's been violated or misapplied, and how do we change things in a constructive way so things get better, instead of people, some being the one that's right and some people the one that's wrong. How do you handle mistakes in your family? How do you handle them at work? This is the Transforum, folks. Let's engage.